So recently I've done a video surrounding some hot new manga, and a lot of you rather enjoyed that, so I thought I would do something similar with another group of manga. But before I even start this, I want to mention something really quick. At the beginning of a year, a slight goal of mine was to reach 100,000 subs, and this was before my birthday, or at least around it, within the beginning of July. Obviously we have a bit under a singular month till we reach that point, and we are viciously close. So if you do end up enjoying this video and you aren't subscribed, you should consider it. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leave a like if possible. Helps out with the algorithm quite a bit, and I will continue to work hard to get as close to my goal as possible before my birthday within the beginning of July. Regardless, this past year has been incredible, and I appreciate all the amazing support from every single one of you. I'm deeply thankful, and it makes doing YouTube and videos in general such an enjoyable thing. I absolutely love it, and I adore each and every single one of you. So thank you for hopefully enjoying my content and sticking around with me to experience brand new series. Today, however, I'm going to be looking at 2 series, and originally it was going to be 3, but I felt the 3rd series didn't really fit alongside these 2. And funny enough, they are recommended by you. They are rather unknown. They're not within the main spotlight or Weekly Shonen Jump or anything along those lines. The only way that you would really come across these hidden gems is if either someone recommended them to you, like a lot of you did, or you happen to come across them, maybe someone else's list, or you deep dive within the magazine that you're currently reading and they're luckily enough in there. I didn't really know what to expect going into these 2. Both of them were relatively short, having around 50 chapters each, but the amount of enjoyment I got from both of them was exponential. Like, I was genuinely surprised with how much I fell in love with both of these stories, to the point where even after making this full video, I'm probably going to talk about them in their own separate video later on down the line, just to pull them apart a little bit further and talk about more specific things. These group videos are more of like a general synopsis and overview for the series, yet the singular one series, one video are a lot more of a deep dive, if you will. These 2 series are known as Oshi No Ko and Boy's Abyss, and they were an absolute blast. So let's have a look at them. Starting off with Oshi No Ko, I did not know what to expect from this. I seen some artwork. It's very vibrant and beautiful and colorful and very electrifying. It's kind of difficult to describe what type of artwork it has. It's very detailed within its facial expressions and its bodily movements, and overall has this aesthetic or charm to it that's captivating, draws your attention in entirely and holds onto it for as long as it can. And it works very well. So it would turn out that Oshi No Ko is written by the same author that does Kaguya-sama. Not drawn, but just written. And just from knowing that, I would knew this story would be rather solid in its foundation, within its writing, how it would be utilized, the dynamic between relationships, the concept at play, and overall the enjoyment you would get from it. Kaguya-sama is beyond solid in that regard, and does a lot of incredible things that isn't necessarily out of the norm, but goes above and beyond to play upon it in their own respective way. I really enjoy Kaguya-sama. So seeing that the author is not only working on his story, which is Kaguya-sama, as well as Oshi No Ko, which are both weekly, I believe, is extremely impressive, and I have a lot of respect for him for doing that. One series is brutal enough to work on, especially because he's drawing his own story, but he's also writing a second story for Oshi No Ko. What I mentioned before about character dynamic and concept specifically is quite easily the most appealing thing about this series. The concept at first seems super normal, something that a lot of series try to do, and honestly it might even put you off. But I guarantee once you start to understand what the story is trying to do, where it actually goes with it, and how well it fleshes everything out, its characters, the concept itself, the relationships, the dynamic that it builds between characters, and how it molds these characters in a specific way regarding their growth or development is so engaging. It's enticing, it's addicting, and I couldn't help but want to read more every single time after I finished the chapter. I really wanted to know what was going to happen next, because it definitely throws in some unexpected curveballs that you wouldn't necessarily see coming, especially because the art is so descriptive and vibrant and electrifying. When you get these very deep, dark pockets of grittiness, you're kind of shocked that it even showed it to such a length, especially the emotional moments that circle around those deep, dark moments. They're very prominent. They draw out a lot of emotion from the reader and allow you to kind of take in the whole situation all at once. So you have a story that seems normal at first, but is so absolutely solid and knows what it wants to tell and do, mixed with artwork that clashes with it directly that you wouldn't think would go well with this type of story, or makes you think it's a specific type of story, to then elevating it, twisting it, and showing a completely different light within its own narrative is absolutely incredible, and one of the most enjoyable things in a very long time. Not to mention the characters' personalities are lovable through and through. They have a lot of individuality behind them and makes them super easy to spot out within like a large crowd of people, which is great. A lot of stories struggle to really flare up that individuality within characters' personalities, how they uphold themselves, maybe even the way they speak or the way they think about things, but this story doesn't have that problem. And every character that you come across or that has any sort of shred of importance stands out like a bright light. But the real question is, what is Oshi No Ko? Oshi No Ko at the beginning follows the story of a 30-year-old doctor known as Goro, someone that very straight and narrow, very intelligent doctor, but someone that has a little bit of a secret. He doesn't necessarily hide it, but he does indulge with it within his working hours as a doctor rather frequently. He watches idols. And at first you think this is kind of weird, a 30-year-old doctor indulging within idols that are obviously underage, and even a character brings up that quote-unquote creepiness surrounding it if he were to ever fall in love or even engage a young idol. This, I believe, is used to throw you off rather quickly because it is implemented right at the beginning, but there's a reason why he actually watches idols and is currently addicted to them, and it quickly kind of implements a previous patient that the doctor was looking over for a very long period of time, a young 12-year-old girl known as Serena. And Serena was infatuated with idols. She absolutely loved them, and she was also extremely sick. So while Goro was watching over this young girl and giving her a lot of attention and making her life within the hospital very comfortable, they would spend a lot of time together. They would watch these idol performances, and one of them was a very massive, up-and-coming, beautiful woman known as Oshi No Ko. Now, Ai is kind of the central pillar of this, and the conversation that Serena brings up towards Goro is, what would it be like if you were reincarnated or born to the children of these incredible individuals, these celebrities, these famous idols? What would it like being the child of one of these influential people, being born with incredible looks or intelligence or abilities that could follow in those same footsteps as your parents? This question's brought up a lot, and it's the birth of the concept of the story that Oshi No Ko actually follows. Unfortunately, that young 12-year-old girl Serena that absolutely loves idols would pass away, and Goro would continue to uphold her legacy and indulge in idols himself, coming to love them himself because of Serena. Not long after this, the idol that both him and Serena were absolutely infatuated with, Oshi No Ko, would come into the hospital pregnant with twins at the age of 16. Quite controversial, but one that the doctor felt obligated to obviously deliver these children in the best health and possible way. Keeping her identity, being a famous idol, secret from absolutely everyone, is that is the main reason why she's within a very unknown hospital complex within a backwood, very small town or city-esque landscape. Out of the mainstream eye, to put simply. You would quickly progress over a handful of months with Goro and Ai getting a lot closer and them bonding quite a little bit and creating more of a personal connection between them. Obviously because Ai is trying to give birth very secretively, and Goro is doing everything within his power as a very intelligent and professional doctor to make this possible. However, on the night of the expected birthing of the idol's Oshi No Ko's twins, tragedy would strike. A delusional and disgusting fan, someone that is obsessed with the idol Oshi No Ko, would find out where she is and kind of invade the hospital complex. So before Goro could even be called or return home in waiting for the chance to deliver Ai's twins successfully, he comes across this stalker, and it does not end well. This is where you see the twist and the true story of Oshi No Ko become a reality, as the doctor gets kind of horrifically killed right there and then within the open, as the stalker disappears within the night and Goro lays dying on the ground. The next thing you know, Goro has been reincarnated as one of the childs Hoshino Ai, the idol that he was obsessed with, gave birth to that very night. But as a brand new child to the popular idol, he has also retained every inch and aspect of his prior life. So he is still a 30-year-old doctor with all of the intelligence that he has within a child's body. That means that he could quite literally speak and become a quote-unquote child prodigy if he wanted to, because of how much information he's retained from his previous life. So he keeps it secret alongside his twin sister. And before you know it, the story has escalated within an entirely different direction. His new name being Aquamarine, and his twin sister being known as Ruby, who too is someone that has been quote-unquote reincarnated and has retained all of their memories and information from their prior life. It would not all be sunshine and rainbows, however. The perfect life that Goro envisioned wouldn't be as easy coming as he thought it would, as there would be a lot of heartbreak, tragedy, and trials and tribulations that will take you on this twisty, turny roller coaster of emotions that you will not expect whatsoever. And it is one that I would highly recommend you check out. I guarantee you'll probably be shocked and very much surprised with what it actually does. So with that being said, that is basically it. Originally, I was going to talk about two different series, Oshi No Ko and Boys Abyss, but I decided to leave this just to Oshi No Ko, and then I will do Boys Abyss in a separate video. Reasoning for it, kind of short on time currently, and I don't want to squeeze in Boys Abyss to make this obnoxiously longer than it has to be. So hopefully this is still enjoyable enough as a singular video, and do expect Boys Abyss pretty much identical to this style within hopefully the next couple of days. But if you have read Oshi No Ko, or if you plan to read it, maybe you find it interesting, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I think it's a very enjoyable series. I find rather fascinating, and honestly I'm going to keep up to date with it. Hell, I might even break it apart even more within another video. So I'd love to know what you think about it. But I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Drink plenty of water. New video every 3 days, and I will see you within the next one. Goodbye.